Welcome back to ApexRacingTV. I apologise for the small technical issue that I had in the first part of this race where I was trying to get everything back up and running just with a half-second power cut to reset the PC and the stream, so apologies for missing the first 10 minutes of the race, but currently at this time we've got Blake Neck leading out in front by 24 seconds over Alex Hill, but he is the only Daytona prototype in the field tonight. And then Alex Scale currently leading the GTE field at this time over Enric Andre, and then Matthew Kingsley rounding out the podium, represented by BMW, Ferrari, and then Porsche. Then in the GT3s, we've got Dave Cameron, last week's winner for Outbound Scientific Racing in his Mercedes, currently leading over Shane Edgar over, I think that's a 17-second lead, so quite a long way over this first and second place, and then a little bit further back in 7.5 seconds we've got the Pulse Racing Team driver of Martin Crisp in the final podium position for the GT3s.
And racing tonight's been really fantastic up front. We didn't get a chance to catch it, but I'm sure the guys will get back up there. Gel and Andrea, pretty much from the start, having a fantastic battle. We saw Andrea get the jump around the outside into turn 1 and 2 and take quite a commanding lead for the first 10 minutes of the race, and had a little bit of an off-track excursion down through the oak tree while they were coming up on the back of some lap traffic there. I believe it was Pang Sung Choi in the Audi there, and unfortunately dropped the wheel off and went a bit wide and dropped himself back into second place. Kingsley, though, had been pretty consistent. The lap time's looking quite good for him so far out there tonight, but the big one in the GT3s at the moment has been Dave Cameron, up 6 spots from where he started, currently sitting in 10th outright.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have potentially started on the pole position from what I had on the timing screen, but yeah, that was just myself loading in, sadly. So those position gains may not reflect the true starting position. You might have to check that one, Dan. But in saying that, though, Cameron, as always, putting in a stellar performance as we've come to expect over the past weeks that we've been covering this series over the course of the last 11 weeks. And yeah, certainly showing his potential today.
Absolutely, doing a fantastic job out there. And a guy we haven't really seen, well, we've seen Dave Cameron quite a bit, and as you say, last week took the round win. He's actually on the back here of Matteo Pagani in the BMW. So while there is traditionally, you would expect to see quite a large pace difference between the GT3 and the GTE, both cars very, very consistent in pace. And looking at the last time by, Cameron was nearly just short of a second quicker than what Matteo is doing around here at the moment. So he's going to be on for a move, probably, if anything, down the back straight. He'll set this up down in towards Oak Tree here, and the Mercedes looking extremely good over the curbs at the moment.
Yeah, they was going very, very fast through the fast left-hander down the hill up to the double right-hander past the Oak Tree. We'll see whether he can get the run out of Oak Tree Bend. See if we can go on board quickly with Dave Cameron. But yeah, sadly, I don't think he's going to be close enough to the back of Pagani into the roller coaster. Goes a little bit deep into the corner, I would have think. Would have liked to have seen him stay to the left a bit to open up the corner. But in saying that, though, very, very nicely navigated through the roller coaster section and onto the final corner. Start another lap.
And we'll keep an eye on the lap times just on the left of your screen here as they make their way across. And look at that, only a 100th of a second between both drivers there. So Cameron really in a league of his own in the GT3 right now. Pagani just with a little bit of a wobble up through turn 2 as they make their way down NASCAR Bend here at the moment. You can just see how much stronger that Mercedes is under brake.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a quick look back at the battle for the second place. So we've got a a Ford off of Wallenborn. Just making a mistake going too deep into the first corner. And that will make him fall down to the 14th position overall. Currently last running driver in the GTEs. We've got 3 cars of Anthony Moore, Nick Sanfilippo and Eunice Covisto currently in the pit lane. So I don't think those two, well, 2 of the drivers I don't think took the start, and then Anthony Moore had an issue on track within the last couple of laps, so sadly we weren't able to catch what happened to him. But an unfortunate event for Anthony Moore.
Yeah, not ideal for either of those 2 guys, and that's both a BMW and a Porsche out at this point, which is a little bit sad to see. Just keeping an eye on where our race leader is at the moment. He's making his way up through towards the oak tree. He's already in the back of the GT3 fields, putting a lap down on both, who was that? That was Alan Day and Martin Crisp. So Blake Nex certainly out there setting a phenomenal pace at the moment. Last time by for him was a 1:40.24, so he's got himself quite a good advantage over both classes at the moment, to the tune of between 2 to 5 seconds, depending on which class you're looking at the moment. And yeah, from classic Blake, what we've really expected to see, he's got the DPI really well set up, and it's just turning dividends for him.
Yeah, certainly. We're just going to wait to see what his lap time is next time around, just to see what his delta is compared to when he was in clean air. So you've got the driver of, I think that's Adam Simpson, just ahead of him. About to put a lap on him, and the last time for Blake was a 42.0, so a couple of seconds lost due to traffic, but that was Wallenborn off again. So he seems to be struggling with that first corner, thinking that he can go a little bit deeper on the brakes, but sadly he can't pull it up at the moment. Maybe his tyres are a little bit worse for wear as he runs wide again, and Neck will be up the inside. Oh, that was very, very close. Wallenborn maybe not aware of Blake trying to come through, but certainly both drivers going through unscathed.
Yeah, it looks like they both got away with that one. Blake very lucky coming back in there to get that move done. Really, Wallenborn probably didn't quite see that, a little bit unsighted in the mirrors there, but he's having a lot of trouble, and that was something we spoke of right at the start of the broadcast here, with if you do set the tyres off to the edge of the track, it's really hard to either pull it up and get the car back up onto the corner. So just needs to maybe calm that down a little bit. Great to see him out in the Ford. We don't get enough participation in that car at all, but just needs to maybe just slow it down just a touch and look at keeping that car back on the surface.
Just going to take a quick look at the weather as well, once I can bring that one up. We've got a 27 degree ambient with a 33 degree track temperature, so shouldn't be too difficult for the drivers, given that it's a 9 AM simulated time, so early in the morning. And then we've got a 7 km/h wind heading southwesterly, so not too much wind, but certainly a tricky one, especially through the fast S that's going up through to the fast left-hander, then to the double right-hander through the oak tree. So we'll just see how the drivers fare with that today, as they've all successfully navigated the course for the past just gone 19 minutes, coming up in about 5 seconds time.
And that being said, it won't be too far off either before we do see pit stops start to take effect. Traditionally, we've seen them around that 20 to 25 minute range, so we'll keep an eye out for the guys coming in around there. What we might do quickly is we'll jump back towards Andrea and Gell, first and second in the GTE class. They're starting to close that gap up a lot now. We saw Andrea have that issue earlier on where he got unsighted by a little bit of lap traffic and unfortunately dropped the lead of the class, but his last lap times here, he was 0.6 of a second quicker than Gell, so certainly a lot of pace in that Ferrari, and he's been able to really start closing down that gap.
Yeah, definitely. We're just going on board with Enric Andre at the moment. It's going through the uphill S section. This is a flat out part of the track. Maybe a short lift for the right-hander before he chuck it in down a couple of gears. You want to maximise the width of the track here, especially braking at the between the 3 and the 2 board, then through the right hander of the oak tree, getting a good exit for Andre. Gap down to about 8 tenths of a second. Last time around, Alex Scale put in a 43.7, carried that to Andre of a 43.0, so 6.5 tenths gained last time around. And looking this time at the sectors, it looks as though that Andre is going to go even quicker.
Yeah, Andre doing a really nice job here, sitting just behind, a little bit of dirty air for him, but you can see him really monstering those curves. The car not really reacting too badly to it. Just watching him go down the back straight there, he was really able to start closing down that gap. So the slipstream working really well to his effect. They do have a little bit of lap traffic just ahead of them. That's the Audi of Wing Sung Choi, so they'll just have to keep an eye on that one. But hopefully they should be able to navigate that not too badly. And last time by for both drivers, we saw a 3/10 swing in favour of Andrea there, and that gap now down under half a second.
Yeah, Wing Sung Choi jumping out of the way very, very nicely for these 2 drivers. In saying that though, gap now down to half a second, or near off it, and yeah, Andre's going to be up in that dirty air right now, so it might not be advantageous to be this close due to the extra wear of the tyres, but yeah, to be half a second under, well, off the back of Gal at the moment. We'll see whether Andre decides to go for the undercut, which certainly has been a viable strategy for some drivers this season.
Absolutely, and we've seen that in quite a few series. I mean, take Sunday night, for instance, at out on the AMF race, we saw a great job there where the undercut was used extremely well with Edwards, and he was able to get further up. But be interesting to see how they go. I don't know that you'll get a huge advantage here, but if he does find himself getting held up, then yeah, certainly going to play benefit. But we also need to keep an eye on the battle for 5th and 6th as well at the moment between Alexandra and Klimak. These guys are just 0.2 of a second away from each other. They're dropping into the roller coaster right now, and the Porsche running a little bit wide there, able to keep it on the tarmac and not lose too much. But yeah, these guys are extremely close on track right now.
Yeah, Alexandre very, very lucky to get away with that, especially with trying to put the power down on the exit of the right-hander entering the roller coaster. Klimak looking down the inside, but not close enough this time. But yeah, that right-hander entering the roller coaster be pretty detrimental to some drivers putting the power down. One instance that I can remember was running very, very deep there for Apex Online Racing in the Formula Renault 2.0, and that certainly cost me at least a few positions and also some wing damage, so that hindered my performance even further.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do. It's a corner that does suck you in really hard, and you know, I've fallen fair that a couple of times where you think you can carry that little bit extra speed through the initial turn-in phase, but you struggle to turn it in through the second portion there, and it's really hard on the car and messes with your mind just a touch, thinking it's got a lot more to offer you there than it really does. And once you get that balance, you can find it and stick to it, you can certainly make some really good dividends out of it. And these guys here are working on that now. A little bit of lap traffic just in front of them. That's Martin Crisp just up the road on them, and they will have be navigating Choi again soon, so they'll have to keep that in mind. But see, this time getting the cars slowed down a lot further, and that battle will still continue on.
Those are the number 21 of Wang Sung Choi, again jumping out of the way of Martin Crisp, who will in turn get out of the way of Alexandre and Klimak. But it looks as though Klimak was able to profit off that. We'll see whether they can get a replay. Let's just say that Alexandre went wide at the middle part of the roller coaster, and very, very lucky to not hit Klimak at the that short little straight there before the final corner.
Yeah, it looked like he got up on the curb a little bit there and induced a little bit of wheel spin, which sent him off into the grass there. And lucky to recover that. Could have been a lot worse for him. He comes back in with some lap traffic. I think that's Alan Day rejoining at the back end of that replay there. So he's got a little bit of work to do now to get back up and start making a move. But we will jump back up the front. We've got Gell and Andrea battling again. That gap now down to 0.3 of a second. And Andrea going to have a fantastic run here with the draft, and we'll see what he can do coming up into the roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be close enough this time, but as you say, 0.3 of a second gap. Last time around, Gal was near on 0.2 of a second slower than Andre last time around with a 43.4. Comparing that to Andre's 43.2 or high point 1. So this time around, Gal puts in a time of 43.2. Andre looking up the inside, but not close enough this time. Right on the gearbox of Gal. And this goes to show you how close 1/4 of a second is.
Yeah, not much in it at all. And just looking at the way the cars are getting through, Andrea looks to still have a little bit more grip on the front end of that car. He's able to turn it in a little bit better, as we see that here as Gal runs wide, and there is a change of position there. So it looks like the BMW is starting to really suffer on its tyre, so it might not be a bad idea to come in and get the stop over and done with sooner rather than later.
Yeah, certainly we've crossed the halfway point already, coming up to 27 minutes elapsed this time. So Enric Andre currently leading GTE class at the moment. We see that Blake Neck, our overall leader, is in the pit lane right now. So we'll get a bit of a reference to how quick his stop is. He's just hit the box right now. Same with Dave Cameron, the leader of the GT3s, who's already in the pit lane with a 15.5 second stop and a transit time. Where is he coming out now? So he's going to be about 37 seconds in the pit lane. He's just coming out in front of his teammate and overall leader.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That gives us a good reference yard or stick to see how the rest of this field goes. We've got quite a lot of guys now starting to drop into the lane. Bulfus is in there, Simpson's in there as well. The battle up front still continuing on, and Alex Gell hasn't let go of Enric Andrea up the front, and these guys are probably going to continue this fight on the entirety of the race, I think.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long before those two drivers are in the pit lane as well. But the top 8 in GTE have not pitted yet. Also with Edgar Wallenborn as well, haven't taken to the pit lane as well as Wangsun Choi this time. So you can see a bit of an overview of who has taken a pit stop and who hasn't. But Gal all over the gearbox of Andre this time. He won't be making a move up the inside of the fast left-hander, the double right-hander at the oak tree. Just have to sit in line. You can make an overtake if you're very, very brave and have got the space, but Andre certainly knows that it's not possible with his pace around this circuit today.
Yeah, and if you are going up there for the move, it does require a lot of commitment from both yourself and the other driver there, just to know that you can get the placement and not throw it off the road for either of you. But Gell dropping down just a touch in the draft there, not quite able to get up, but he does close back in under brakes, and I think we might now see how Andrea can go, having the pressure applied upon him now.
Yeah, that Ferrari's always been very, very quick in a straight line over the whole season. As they decide to go for one more lap, just going to have a quick look at some other battles throughout the field at the moment. So we've got Shane Edgar into the pit lane. Shouldn't be too long before he comes out of the pit lane as Matt Kingsley into the lane as well, our third place driver in GTE.
Yeah, it looks like we still got Climex, who we got up on screen, still extending his lead over Marcia X Alexandra. Those guys are still going at it. And a little further down, looks like everyone's reasonably well spaced out at this point, but Jonathan Barbera, Matthew Littlefair, those guys still going around a little bit further off the pace probably than what they'd ideally like to be, but they've still got a little bit of time left to maybe make something happen. Elk Woburn did have a bit of an issue earlier. I saw him just having an off track last time by up into turn 1 there, so not ideal for him as we see Alexandra getting it all out of sorts and up on the grass. He's able to rejoin as he tips back in to 5A and just up through to turn 6 now.
Yeah, just up ahead of... Oh, sorry, just behind him was Adam Simpson. I think that's another one of the Porsches of, I think it's Copper's Lorraine, which it is.
I'm just trying to get the number on the Mercedes up ahead of him. I think that's car number 7. If we can find that, that'll be good. But yeah, Loren should be able to get through here, and he'll start turning his attention up ahead to Alexandra. Looking at the pace between both cars, certainly Laurent got a lot more speed on board. Obviously, we saw that issue with Alexandra up through turn 5 there, but yeah, these guys are really starting to come into their own now.
See that Gal's in the pit lane as well, so he's decided to take an early stop. And Eric Andre potentially saved a little bit of fuel whilst he was behind Gal, which is why he's extending quite a lot longer than we had initially expected.
Yeah, I'm also getting word too here that Alan Day back in the lane for his second stop as well. So I don't know whether he had some damage, but it looks like he's back out rejoining the field now. So no doubt we'll find out later on what happened there for him, but not ideal for what he would have wanted.
So he's actually gone on for quite a long time in terms of stop, so he's well over a minute into the pit lane, so he must have had some sort of technical issue that prevented him from exiting the lane. So we'll see whether he does come out of the pit lane, but I don't think he will be at this time. He hasn't left the pit box yet, as Andre's into the pit lane.
Yeah, that will leave only 2 drivers still out there at the moment to take their stops. It looks like Simon Clement still to come down the lane for his stop, and also Jonathan Barbera as well. So that'll be almost the entirety of the field gone through for their stop.
Yeah, we just got Clement, Barrera, as you say, and then we got Wallenborn not taken to the pit lane just yet.
It also looks like too Alex Gell was still in the lane there as well. When we saw Andrea jump back out, he came in for his stop right behind Alex Gell's BMW there, but Alex still sitting on the lane 2.5 minutes down.
Yeah, so I don't think that Gal will be coming out of the pits if he does. So a shame, to be honest, for Gal to be leading for such a long time to then have a technical issue, which put him out of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he himself and Andrea put on a fantastic show earlier on. Unfortunately, we didn't get to quite capture all of that. But yeah, from what we did see of it afterwards, the battle was fantastic between both drivers. And Andrea certainly now getting himself quite a good lead now over Matthew Kingsley. That gap's extended out to 13.5 seconds first to second. But it does also promote Alexandra, who we got up on screen now, up into third in class and 4th outright overall. He's got himself a 4-second lead over Simon Clement in the BMW there, who in turn has now got Coppertus Laurent all over the back of him by about 0.7 of a second now, gap with the Porsche just behind. So this will be our next little battle that'll heat up now, and we'll keep an eye on this as they working their way up through the oak tree and onto the back straight.
Yeah, solid run there for Laurent getting over the oak tree. Gap at the moment just hovering over about 1 second. I think last time around for both drivers was their pit laps, so we're not actually too sure what their last flying lap was in terms of lap time, but should be able to find out this time around as Laurent did it on the end of lap 18 and Klimek on the end of 19, so
I'll keep an eye on that. And then for the viewers watching through the little rear view camera there on Lament's car, you can see Blake Neck working his way past as well. So Blake putting a lap down on these guys, and yeah, they're battling for 4th and 5th in class already. So Blake doing a fantastic job here. May potentially put a lap on the entire field if time permitting, although looking at where Andreas is at the moment, Andreas all the way up at the oak tree, so Blake's got a lot of work ahead of him and a lot of cars in between himself and Andrea that he will need to work on if he wants to get up and put those laps on people.
yeah, definitely. So looking at the raw pace of Blake Neck at the moment, averaging in the mid to high 1 minute 40s. I don't think it will be possible for Blake Neck to lap the entire field, but mistakes from the front three could prove me wrong.
As we say that, it looks like Alexandra in the wall as well down at Oak Tree, so he's actually dropped down a spot, and that will put him down in 5th in class, so that's dropped him out of 3rd outright. We'll have to see if we can potentially get a replay up of that one there, but it looks like he just overshot coming into the oak.
Try and get a replay of that one. Okay, so Andre, it's coming up to the very, very fast section of the track. He must have just run wide at the first part of the double right-hander, and which he did. Yeah, it's very, very easy to do. I'm going to try and maximize the turn in to there, but then you got to get it slow up. Slowed up for the second part of the oak tree. And
yeah, and then the other one we were going to also have a look at too there if we get a chance was Marcia Alexandra as well. He did a similar thing to what we saw from Andrea there, and we'll watch that now with losing it up through Oak Tree.
Oh, so it's even worse than Enric Andre, and he found himself in the wall. So Alexandre falls back down to 7th in class and 9th overall. So he's got a gap of about 40 seconds to the next car, which I don't think he's actually moving on track, so he must have a technical issue.
Yeah, potentially. I think actually I'm showing him sitting in the lane as well, so that's if he has managed to have an issue there and cause that car to stop, that's quite unfortunate for him. He was sitting quite high up the order and looking at a potential podium here tonight in the GTE class up until that point, but it has promoted a couple of guys up the order. We got Littlefair, up on screen at the moment in the Row Racing Porsche. That car looking quite nice out there as well tonight. So good to see him having a run. We don't normally see him up in the top split race, but with the lower participation tonight, it's great to have him out here having a run.
Yeah, absolutely. His fastest time was a 45.4, so a little bit off the pace compared to the front runners, but certainly very, very strong performance from him. Just outside the top 5 at the moment. But I'm going to have a look quickly at our GT3 leader at the moment, who's currently got a 53-second lead over Shane Edgar, who's currently sitting 2nd in class. So, as always, Cameron putting in a stellar performance, as we've certainly come to expect over the last few weeks that we've seen him in the official IMSA series. And then further from Shane Edgar, we've got Martin Crisp, who sits about 15.4 seconds back from Shane Edgar, who are all in the Mercedes at the moment. So the only Audi in the GT3 field is Huang Sung Choi.
Yeah, the Mercedes seeming to be really the class car to be in, and we were talking about just the difference in time, just for relative perspective here. I was watching as Cameron came down up into turn 1 there. Edgar was only making his way down through the oak tree, so at least a half a lap difference between both of these drivers on circuit at the moment. That's quite a long way with only 40 minutes on the clock, and it just goes a bit of a testament to just how quickly Cameron has been getting around there. Tonight we see Martin Crisp with a little bit of a wiggle, able to save that, getting out of, where was that, turn 17, so he was lucky not to have lost that one, but he's doing quite well, gets himself a third tonight, and unfortunately we did have a couple of dropouts in that class. Alain Day, most notable one, a little bit of an issue there, found himself down in 17th and unfortunately out of the race. But Choi, even though he has been probably one of the slower cars out there tonight, still able to find himself in a relatively good position in class.
Yeah, definitely. Just going to have a quick look at the battle between Simon Climac and Coppitas Laurent. This is the battle for the final podium position in the GTEs. Who's coming up? Both of them are coming up a middle lap of traffic at the moment. And Mercedes is just making it a little bit difficult. Not sure whether that was a disconnection or whether that was a disqualification.
I think based on the car dropping out like that, I think that might be an exceeding of the track limits, which would be 17. So that's unfortunate for Simpson there. He was looking reasonably good and on for a good podium position up until that point.
Yeah, definitely. He was only 7 seconds behind Martin Crisp. See that Climac has had another issue as well. He's falling down the timing screen as well. So that potentially was another case of hitting the incident limit.
Yeah, the incident limit here, probably one of the easier tracks to get that through, especially with just how narrow it is in places and how close you are running with the grass alongside you. Very easy to pick those up as you're going around. But Laurent now has himself quite a decent sized gap over Jonathan Barbera. That's that gap, 4.5 seconds. Unfortunately, may not get up to Matthew Kingsley, who's currently 25 seconds up the road on him. So Kingsley should be pretty well safe alongside Enrique Andre for first place in the class.
Yeah, so we're just under 2 minutes to go. We're going to have a look to see where Blake Neck is. Just coming up to lap the second in class, Shane Edgar. He gets up the inside of the first part of the oak tree. So from where we are, there will be one more lap to go after Blake crosses the line. At the moment, it will look as though that he is able to lap everyone up to Matthew Kingsley, provided that he's able to overtake. So that's, to be honest, that's an astonishing effort to be able to lap everyone all the way up to third place.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something we've seen a lot from Blake this season. When he's been fortunate enough to come out and have a run, just the display that he's put on just goes to show how quick he is in that DP car. And we've seen a couple of instances now throughout the series where he has been able to lap upwards of third or even second in the GTE class. So there's absolutely no doubting the speed that Blake's got in these cars at the moment.
Yeah, so it's only a couple of seconds before Blake is able to lap Matthew Kingsley. He's having some technical issues at the moment, by the looks of it. But yeah, coming up through this fast section here, I think it would be pretty inevitable that Next going to be able to get past Kingsley. But I think with the fastest is actually approaching here, he's going to have to sit second in line. He'll have to wait until the first part of the oak tree or on the exit, which I think he'll have to. Oh, it's Kingsley lets him through, so yeah, to lap everyone all the way up until P2, even though there was only 21 cars on the field today, certainly an outstanding effort. He's only really got 2 sectors left on the track to go. Certainly not going to be one to make a mistake as he's running the final part of the roller coaster.
No, not at all. Blake's done a fantastic job here. Comes his way down through the final part here and comes across to take another win in the IMSA series.
Yeah, so congratulations to Blake Neck on the win in the Daytona prototype class for run number 11 of the iRacing IMSA Sportscar Championship. We've got Enric Andre currently on his final lap. See where Dave Cameron is, who's further on track at the moment compared to Andre. So Cameron, in the end, has finished at this time 42.5 seconds ahead of Edgar. But I think that Edgar has already crossed the line, so he'll take second in the GT3 class. And I think there's only going to be about 3 or 4 more cars that are waiting to cross the line for their final time.
Yeah, with Cameron coming home in the GTE class, that's a great result for Geodesic Racing there, first and second, first in both the GT3 and the DPI category class tonight. Looks like Andrea coming out of turn 17 now, so he will come across the line and take honours in the GTE field.
Yeah, so congratulations to Enric Andre, who finishes in the first position for himself. I think that's pretty much everyone across the line.
Yeah, that will be everyone. Looks like Blake just doing a slow victory lap to bring home his car. And with that, we will momentarily bring up the final race positions and let you guys know where your favourite drivers have ended up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just putting the link for the driver interviews channel for anyone that wants to come in and have a driver interview. But with that race concluded, we'll be able to take you through the final race results for round number 11 of the iRacing IMSA Sportscar Championship, where Blake Neck took the overall win, 1 minute 17 seconds ahead of the GTE class winner of Enric Andre. Matthew Kingsley finishes in second, and Coppitus Laurent runs at the podium in GTE. Jonathan Barrera in the 5th position overall. Dave Cameron finishes 6th position, but crucially in the 1st position in the GT3s. Matthew Littlefair finishes in 7th. Shane Edgar in 8th position overall. Alexander Blofeld in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 was Martin Crisp, Slamming Klimak, Adam Simpson, 2 drivers that I think fell victim to the incident cap today, so they finished 10th and 11th and 12th positions. Hoang Sung Choi finishes in 13th position. Marcia Alexandri in 14th. Alex Gale, with his technical issues, finishes in 15th. Elko Wallenborn in 16th. Alan Day 17th. Matteo Pagani in 18th. And our retirees, Anthony Moore, Giannis Covisto, and Nick Sanfilippo, rounding out the field of 21 cars today.
Looks like we've got Dave Cameron jumped up, so we'll pull him in and have a chat to him, our current GT3 class winner tonight. Dave, congratulations on the win tonight, mate. Another great result for yourself. The car looked fantastic out there tonight. How did everything go?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it went well, to be honest. I've done quite a bit of practice this week leading up to VIR. It's one of my favourite tracks, and I don't know if you know, I've got a YouTube channel where I do track guides every week, so this was one of them. So I managed to get a few laps in, which always helps me to hit the ground running at the start of the week.
Yeah, Scott and I, were commenting just how much you were able to extend your lead in class. It was upwards of nearly 50 seconds between second place. So the car seemed to be working very well. Were there any issues as far as tyre wear went on it, or any issues, especially with getting through some lap traffic? We know right at the early opening of the race, you were finding yourself able to get up and through some of the GTE field as well.
Yeah, I was a little worried at the beginning, but the GTE drivers were great. They recognised that I was a little bit quicker, so they moved aside. Tyre wear wise, the front end dropped off a little bit towards the end of the race, and lap times reflected that. But overall, the car drove well. It was fine. There was no issues whatsoever. It was great.
Fantastic, mate. Well, before we let you go enjoy the win, better give a bit of a plug to your YouTube channel there, and alongside that, anyone else that you'd like to give a thanks to as well.
Yeah, YouTube, if you haven't seen it, Dave Cam on YouTube, go and have a look. It might be worth watching, might not be, but have a look if you get time. Obviously, the team, Alpine Stars, Geodesic, shout out to them. And obviously, my missus, who will watch this back, no doubt.
Fantastic, mate. Well, look, again, congratulations tonight. It's a fantastic drive from yourself. Class act in the GT3 classes tonight. Next week, I think we have another one up. Are we likely to catch you out for that?
No, unfortunately I'm working next week, so I'm going to miss that one. But I'll be watching if I can sneak away and watch a bit of YouTube on my phone.
Fantastic, mate. Well, unfortunately, we won't see you at Bathurst, but for the couple of races we've had the privilege of watching you out there tonight and last week, fantastic result, mate, and certainly look forward to catching you out there again next season.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the coverage, as always. Thank you.
And that was Dave Cameron, GT3 class winner for Alpine Stars Geodesic there. Scott, doesn't look like we've got anyone else up at the moment while we wait to see if anyone else comes up. Did you want to have a quick run through the upcoming
Yeah, just coming up on Apex Racing TV, we have later on tonight, we have the iRacing VRS GT Championship. That'll be at 1800 GMT. For that broadcast, that will be at Summit Point. So that will be certainly one to tune in for a very, very short technical track for the GT3s. So that'll have some fast and exciting action. And then a little bit later on this evening, we have the BSR MX5 Pro Series for round number 23 of that championship at Mid-Ohio. That'll be starting at 19:15 GMT. On the Thursday, we have the BSR TC Pro Series for the third round of the showdown at Interlagos. That'll be at 19:10 GMT, Thursday, the 22nd of August. And then on the Friday, we have the iRacing Le Mans Series for the 11th round of the championship at Circuit of the Americas. That'll be the 1900 GMT split. For that one, the top split will be broadcast on that one. On Saturday, we've got the final round of the championship for the Sim Racers Asia Formula 3 Series at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That'll be at 1300 GMT on Saturday, and then later on that evening we'll have the Euro V8 Supercar Championship for round number 4 at Phillip Island. Coverage for that one will be at 1800 GMT. And Sunday we've got the Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Development Series for round 11 of that championship. That'll be coincidentally here at VIR. That'll be at 10:45 AM GMT for that one. 20:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time for that one. So be sure to tune in for that one. And then later on the Sunday night we have the Apex Racing League British GT Championship for round number 3 at Alton Park. That will be at 21:10 GMT plus 2, so 19:10 GMT. And then on Monday we have the double header of the BSR MX5 Monday Cup for round number 12 at Road America. That will be at 19:15 GMT, and also alongside that will be the World GT Championship for round number 6 at Monza. That will be on the iRacing Esports Network, also at 19:15 GMT. So a lot of action coming up on Apex Racing TV, and then we'll be back for the iRacing IMSA Sportscar Championship for round number 12 and the final round at Mount Panorama. Same time as always next week, 10:45 GMT.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to Bathurst next week. I think watching the DPs go around there along with the GTE and obviously GT3, we know how good that category is in the Bathurst 12-hour that we normally see every year. It'd be great to see the guys get out there and a track that, extremely technical, does offer up a lot of passing opportunities and a lot of speed as you come down or down the back straight on towards Conrod. And I think we're going to see some great racing all in all for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Bathurst always turns up the heat, as we've always come to expect, especially coming up through Hell Corner all the way up the front straight to up to Griffin's Bend. And it's pretty much one line through all the way from Griffin's Bend up until Forest Elbow. But in saying that, though, if you can get the run on the car in front, you can overtake. But in saying that, though, you will head into the wall if you get it all wrong very, very quickly, as we have seen in the past in other categories as well. But yeah, as you say, pretty much there's only a couple of opportunities to overtake heading into the chase down Conrod. If you certainly a lot of slipstreaming opportunities through there. We'll see how the gearboxes of the cars will be tuned for that one. Certainly to see whether one favours the acceleration out of the corners and whether the other cars like the top end to be able to overtake. But yeah, as you say, Bathurst will be certainly a cracking race to end the championship for another season, second season broadcasting this one. So certainly looking forward to next round of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't say that any better myself, mate. I think that being said, Scott, I think we might wrap it up here. To all the viewers tuning in, again, apologies for the slight little technical glitch at the start, but thank you all for coming back and tuning in to watch this. To our class winners tonight, Blake Neck, Eric, Andrea and Dave Cameron. Congratulations to all those guys, and for all of us here, we'll look forward to catching up with you again next time at Bathurst.